Hey everybody, welcome back to the Carryandcut YouTube channel. And if you're new here, I really do appreciate you stopping by and watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, also leave a comment down below. It really does help out the channel. And we have some pretty exciting stuff happening here soon. I know we are getting pretty close to our 2,000 subscriber goal. Of course, that's not the end goal of the channel, but it's a pretty cool milestone that I'm really excited to celebrate. So TRM has joined up with me, and we are going to be doing a TRM kind of bundle giveaway. Plus, we have a Jimmy Crow exclusive knife that he did for us. So a lot of cool stuff happening, and cannot wait to do that. So make sure you guys go ahead and tell your friends, family. Let's go ahead and get a couple more subscribers going. We will give that knife given away. Well, actually, 2 knives given away. So thank you very much. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get on into this review here. This is another knife sent to us by our good buddy Steven, the lanyard man over there, and his little man Dom. So can't thank you guys enough for all the support that you showed me here at the Carryandcut YouTube channel, and would not be possible. Well, this whole thing wouldn't be possible without guys like him. So this is the Microtech Stitch. This is a knife that he just got here recently at Blade Show Texas 2025, and I know this is one that he's been after for a long time. This is definitely a highly sought after model in this configuration right here. So we have the apocalyptic blade finish on here. We also do have the fluted aluminum, and it's a very cool, thing they have going on here. I know the MSI was the original version of this, not this knife here, but this whole lineup. I know the Stitch has been around. Borka Blades did their own custom stuff, but this, I guess the ram lock is what I'm really trying to get at here. So Microtech came out with the ram locking series of knives. They started with the MSI, I'm pretty sure. Then we got the amphibian, then the Stitch. I don't really know that order, but those are the 3 ram locking manual knives that they have on their lineup. And of course, the MSI was a super popular hit. Of course, it had the, like the FRN kind of handles, and it was actually a very low price tag for what you were getting for such a big knife. And it was really awesome and appealing to a lot of people. This, I feel like, I know the amphibian's a really big knife too, and it's also pretty pricey, but this is on the other end of the spectrum, at least with variant with these fluted aluminum scales. It just gives the knife a whole nother, dimension, a whole nother texture, and it's just something very special. I do want to just point out the somewhat similarities, I guess. The Stitch isn't that much. I mean, it is a little bit bigger in width just because of the actual, the blade. This is the most striking thing to me about this knife is just that blade. It is a very aggressive, I don't even know what kind of blade shape you want to call that. It is a really useful blade shape. It's somewhat of a drop point, harpoon, crazy looking deal. You can even rock it on a flat surface. So there's just a lot of stuff going on here on this blade, and it's very useful. But you do lose a whole lot of cutting edge with a blade shape like this. So, if you take it versus the MSI right here, I don't know. That's kind of a pivot to pivot. You really can't go that way. But from blade tip to blade tip, I guarantee you're getting close to an inch difference, and we will go ahead and look at that once we get into the review here. But I'm just going over a couple things with this knife and the differences between some. But the cons, pros and cons, I guess we should say. One, this is a beefy knife. It is a huge piece of machinery, I almost want to call it. It is big and obnoxious, and it's definitely not going to be for everybody. But at the same time, if you ever get your hands on one of these, and I thought this would be the perfect knife for me, I might, pump the brakes on that one just a little bit. It's very big, but, it's also just really striking in its appearance, and that is one thing that really stands out to me on this. But we do have a, of course, tip-up right or left-hand carry, somewhat deep carry pocket clip. I have actually recently found out that Lynch Northwest, their pocket clips fit the amphibian, the Stitch, and the MSI, so that is a really cool thing, and a lot of people are wanting to put a deep carry clip on their Stitch or amphibian MSI. We do have a integrated backspacer plus lanyard attachment that is aluminum. I'm pretty sure. I don't think that's titanium. Definitely going to be aluminum on there. We have oversized hardware. That is one thing that's definitely important to me. I know everybody is tired of seeing T6 screws everywhere, and these are actually T8 on the, let's go just make sure I'm telling you guys that right and not making stuff up. T8 for the pocket clip. Well, that pocket clip was loose. That screw was. Good thing I looked at that. We are going to be doing a disassembly video on this one. But yep, T8 all the way around, and then we have T20 in the pivot, and of course mirrored on the other side there. Yeah, so big, hard use, overbuilt. I feel like that's the category this thing is going to be in. I know Microtech had their big scandal, whatever you want to call it, about the ram locks failing. I'm not going to test Stevens, of course, but this is my MSI with the ram lock, and I smacked this thing on a 2x4 with a pair of gloves on, of course, really hard, and nothing ever happened with this one. I know this one was actually made in that March 2024 timeline, and I'm not sure when they started changing up their process, but I'm really getting in the weeds here. Let's just stick back to this knife here. Let's go ahead and do some overall size and specs and stuff like that. So let's get the Miss Carryandcut kitchen scale out. Hopefully this thing wants to zero out today. It's kind of giving us some issues. Okay, we're zeroed out, and we're at 6.1 ounces. So this is definitely a hefty knife, that is for sure. Let's go ahead and do length. How about we do some length on this one? So let's get the tip all the way over there to the edge. Perfect. All right, so overall length of the knife, we are about right at 8 inches actually, maybe just a little bit past 8 inches, maybe 8 1/8. Pretty close to that one. Blade length is coming in at almost 3 1/4. We're getting pretty close to that. Let's see if we can get right at, pretty much right at 3 1/4. Kind of hard to nail it down exactly. But yeah, really close to 3 1/4, but actual cutting edge is going to be at right at 3 inches. So you're losing, you know, almost 3/4 of an inch due to that really big finger choil right there. But at the same time, you know, that's, you're kind of know what you're getting when if you're going to be investing into a knife like this. And overall handle is right about a little less than 5 inches. So we got a very large knife, is really just what I'm trying to get at here. Handle profile, let's go ahead and see what we are at our thickest part of our handle. So we're at yeah, 600, so over half of an inch blade stock thickness. This is definitely a beefy 160, 161. Then it tapers down all as you go. Yep, and I really do like this harpoon though. That is a very cool, interesting blade shape, that is for sure. What about behind the edge thickness? If we can get a somewhat good measurement of it here. 15,000 behind the edge. So despite it being a you know, rather thick blade stock, we still do come down to a very thin behind the edge. Yeah, that is definitely going to be, you know, important for a lot of people. Slicing efficiency is everything. And as you can see, this is the factory edge on this knife. Steven carried it for like 2 days and then sent it over to us. So it's definitely factory fresh and still cuts very well. But I imagine, you know, you could put your own 17-degree edge on this thing. It is going to be an absolute slicing monster, despite being, you know, a thicker blade stock. And we do have all sorts of different grinds going on this thing, and it just looks really cool. That is one thing I cannot say enough about this, and it just looks really awesome. We do have M390 MK on this blade steel here. So if you guys are not familiar with M390 MK, it's of course very similar to the standard M390 or 20 CV, but Microtech did their own little spin on it to make it, I think it's easier on their manufacturing side of stuff. So you're not going to really notice any difference in performance versus your standard M390 on any of your other pocket knives for 20 CV or 204P, whatever you want to go ahead and compare it to. But with that out of the way, I think we can go ahead and do some size comparisons here. How about up against the MSI? And before we do that, let's go ahead and look at the cutting edge length. So we're at almost 3.5 inches of actual cutting edge on this one versus 3 inches on there. Well, you still get a pretty, this really isn't a finger choil. This is more of just a, I don't know, sharpening choil and plunge grind. It really does have that nice kind of like half moon shape on this one. So, but this is of course a dedicated finger choil. You can really get up in there with this thing. But my favorite part of this knife is being able to actually set that edge on a flat surface while you're working. So this could be, you know, really good for food prep even, you know, kind of camp utility, every day around the house. Of course, that's going to be a main thing. It's kind of definitely not overkill for that, but it's definitely a beast of a knife. So overall, pretty much the same size. I wish I did have the amphibian here. Of course, I do have videos if you do want to go check those out, but these are original goat wing scales, I think they are, so they're aluminum as well. Super nice. Can't say enough good things about original goat, but go ahead and check those out if you would, if you wanted to get some new scales for your Stitch Amphibian or MSI. Okay, so let's move on to the Spyderco Shaman. We are very close in overall size. Of course, definitely different varying blade shapes on there. How about up against the Benchmade Presidio 2? This is another one of my big kind of hard use knives. The only two that I really have that are in this size range, I guess you could say. And then how about the Spyderco PM2? These are rocking chroma scales. If you guys are interested in those, make sure you check out the links in the description below. And then how about the Spyderco Pair 3? So definitely way bigger than that one. And let's just round things off with, how about the Benchmade 940 and then the TRM Atom. So there we go. Definitely a large knife, nonetheless. That's, yeah, very big, that is for sure. But you go ahead and throw a deep crack clip on this thing. It is going to be awesome. I kind of wish, I don't know, I feel like it's kind of easy to fail that reverse flick without putting any actual wrist into it. And maybe that's just me. I don't know. I feel like I really got to throw the, it's not even that bad on the MSI. Trying to do it without flicking my wrist whatsoever. I feel like the detent system is kind of spongy. I don't know if it's just too tight. Not too sure on what's going on right there. But of course, you can do the reverse flick, thumb roll. You get that thumb flick if you really get it in there. And of course, you can just pull back on your ram lock and flipping away all day. But super good action. This thing falls right shut. You definitely don't want your fingers in the way of that blade. And this is a finger safe locking mechanism. Coined that from DCA over there at the Knife Center. So yeah, this is really cool. I love the fluted aluminum on this. I almost, you know, prefer the fluted aluminum on this one versus the original goat scales they have right here. Of course, this is a cool look, but I just like that stock feeling and look that this one actually brings to the table right out of the bat. So these are still available for purchase. I seen one at NC Blades for $314.60. So I will have that link down in the description below if you guys would like to check this thing out. Hopefully I didn't miss too much on there. I feel like we kind of hit some of the pretty good points on this review. But I really want to give a huge shout out to Steven for sending this over to us. This thing has definitely been a treat to carry and use and enjoy. But we're going to go ahead and do a disassembly video on this one next. And make sure you guys stay tuned on that one. Sometimes these ram lock knives can get a little bit interesting, so we will check it out. But I really do appreciate it. And stay tuned for the next one. Thanks, guys.